highs and lows, highs and lows.
Welcome back to the Menace SMP. As you can see, we have our very first Elytra for the series. I went live and took Maddie into the end, and well, if you haven't seen it, it was pretty hilarious. We have very poor sense of direction. I mean, I have a very poor sense of direction. Super clumsy as well. Almost fell into the end, into the void several times. Close calls, lots of close calls. There was a lot of giggle fits, but ultimately we walked away with an Elytra. But today, guys, it's all about rockets. Yes, we need to build a gunpowder farm. And well, the easiest solution? Cats. A creeper farm. A creeper farm and a sugarcane farm. 2 farms and it's super easy and done. You've seen it before. Vanilla friendly, all of that. However, I'm going to showcase the mods here a little bit, and instead of building 2, I'm going to build 4. Yeah. See, we're going to need a Bonemeal farm, and then we're going to need a sulfur farm, and a charcoal farm. So the Bonemeal farm is going to be purely vanilla style Bonemeal farm. The sulfur farm, you need to have Better End installed for this one. And then the charcoal farm is going to be automated using Create. So I'm going to use 3 different styles of farms to make, well, the same material if I made one creeper farm. Yeah, now that I say it like that, yeah. If I make a creeper farm after this, because it takes too long, to get everything together. Don't judge me. No judgy. No judgy. I'm doing this first, but if it doesn't work, no judging. First up is the sulfur farm, and because this is a tick-based farm, I'm going to be putting it next to the staircase. Sulfur grows submerged in water, so we need to dig out a large enough room, approximately 20 by 30, so we can make a large enough pool to submerge all of the brimstone. And because sulfur needs to be harvested manually, we need to set up a system to maximize as many crystals as possible in a compact area. You see, sulfur crystals grow exactly like amethyst crystals, in 3 stages. And the 3rd stage is the stage that we can harvest. And if we use fortune, we're going to get more sulfur per crystal, or at least a chance of it. So we're going to need a pool that's going to house 48 pillars of brimstone, 2 blocks apart from each other, so basically an 8 by 6 or a 6 by 8, depending on how you look at it. Each pillar will have 4 sides with a maximum of 16 crystals generated. So if we do the maths right, remove the 24 spawning spaces for the first row, which will be up against glass, we're looking at a possible 744 crystals, and that's not including harvesting with fortune. So we are looking at a minimum of 11 stacks every harvest if we wait long enough for the crystals to reach stage 3. Now I have gone ahead and installed Jade to help me see when the crystals reach maturity, as visually it's not much different at first glance. This means I can swim around the pool, which is within conduit range, and harvest the crystals manually, which is why I removed the soul sand so that I could do this. Or if I wait long enough, I can run across the top of the platform and harvest each side in one go. So let's do that and figure out how much we get in a full harvest using fortune. Keep in mind, not all of these crystals are at stage 3, but the majority of them are. And after that harvest, almost 16 full stacks. This isn't bad. Again, this is time consuming, and it is a farm that requires the chunks to be loaded all the time. So definitely something you'd need to put under your base or near your base, and regular trips to harvest all of the crystals. This is pretty good for a personal use farm, but once you start to get a bit of a stockpile going, I think maybe every 11 stacks that I use, I just go and harvest the farm again, and hopefully by that time it's all grown back and I'll just keep replenishing, say 11 to 16 stacks with each harvest. That's not too bad. But enough about sulfur, it's time to get started on the next farm. What farm's next, might you ask? Well, that's going to be the Bonemeal farm, which I'm also going to turn into a moss farm. I'm going to use the same farm that I've used on Skyfall, just 1 module smaller. That was just a Shulkercraft farm that I downloaded off the internet, and basically I'm going to make some modifications. So what I will do is I will gather all the materials, I will build the farm, and then I will bring you back for when I want to change up and modify the design to suit my own needs. So I'll see you in 1 second, but for me it'd probably be a few hours, maybe a couple of days. So see you then. And it's done. Yeah, I did make a mistake. However, I did say this was sugarcraft. I was wrong. It's real mango. I made a mistake. My bad, guys. My bad. But the farm's done, and I have gone ahead and put in a roof, which will be part of the build design going around. All of this will be hidden underneath. And yeah, I think it's time to get stuck into all the modifications. Right, so the first modification is we need to stop all of the moss being turned into bonemeal. So we need access to these 4 hoppers above these composters. So now we have direct access to any moss coming out of there. And we are going to want to put these straight into some barrels. But I don't want to come all the way down here to access, 2 barrels of moss. Instead, what we want to do is we want to transfer all of the moss into a bubble elevator. And in order to do that, I need to set up a little contraption with a dispenser into a bubble elevator. So anytime anything comes into the dispenser, let's just put that in there for now. There we go. So all we have to do now is hook up that barrel to that dispenser. And then we're just going to run hoppers straight along there. For now, whenever we have any moss coming in, it will go into the barrel. This is just in case we get an excessive amount coming through. I don't want to clog up all the hoppers. I want to have like a nice little stash if I need it. And now we just need to create a bubble elevator right here, going all the way up there. Right, the bubble elevator is done, which means I can now work on the chest collecting system. And as I only want moss and the azalea bushes, I need the excess to continue around the building until it meets in the middle, and then eventually it'll just drop straight down into the little water well there and be turned into bonemeal. While I get started on these item filters, guys, if you haven't already, please feel free to leave a like and a comment in the video. I do try to reply to everybody's comments, and I definitely give it a little love heart and a like as well. And if you haven't subscribed, I would really appreciate it if you did. It just shows me that, the community's growing. Now that we've got the infrastructure, it's time to start on the water streams, as well as the bubble elevator. But, yeah, this kind of happened. Oh my god. I forgot that, the bacon's on. With the moss collection system all done, it's now time to move on to bonemeal. We're just going to put this one into its own bubble elevator and water stream across the hoppers. But yeah, we don't need any item filters on this side because it should all in theory just be bonemeal. And I will put a little bit of lava at the end just to make sure we have a little overflow safeguard. But this side should be relatively easy to set up. Once we get this going, I think it's time to start decorating the interior, because I won't be doing the outside in this episode, but I think it needs to look a little bit pretty on the inside, just so that I have something nice to look at when I need bonemeal. And with that, we have done all the decorations in here, and yeah, don't mind Serby sitting in the back there. I have been running the farm as well, so we've started to get yeah, quite a bit of bonemeal going. They're all full, as well as with the moss on both sides. I think, yep, we've got at least 6, maybe 7 chests on both sides full of moss, which is pretty good. But now we're on to the next farm, which is going to be charcoal, because that is the last stage of getting all of the gunpowder recipe organized and automated. And then I'm probably going to do the sugar farm in another episode, just because this one is taking such a long time and it is already getting a bit long with farms. So let's get started into the next farm. Now I've already cleared out a nice area over here for the charcoal farm because eventually I'm going to turn this entire little cove into the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. But for now, let's do one thing at a time and start with the charcoal farm. To start building up this farm, we are going to need a platform because we are going to build an automatic tree farm here, and I need to know at what level the outputs are going to be. We're going to have 2 outputs. One of them is going to be for sticks and the other one is going to be for birch logs. Once I get the outputs in, it's time to start the collection system. Starting with the sticks, we are just going to fill a bunch of chests with hoppers and then create an overflow into a little lava pool. And that is the collection for our first resource all done. Now I'm just going to quickly finish off the power for the tree chopper, get that in, get it out of the way, and I'll eventually come back and throw some water in to get it started. Now for the star of the show, the birch logs. We're going to need to bring these down through some funnels into a little collection chest, and eventually these will move off into the smelter, which I am going to power with the same kind of boiler that I used in the mini workshop. We'll use the same water source to power the water wheel, which will basically just power everything on this section. This is a very simple little boiler. I'm going to go across by 5 and then back down by 6, add in some shafts, some conveyor belts. Don't worry, I will figure out later how to turn this machine off because I know they do create lag. We're going to connect this all up with gearboxes to the encased chain drives, which I'm going to put the encased fans in front of before moving on to the vault. Once the vault is in, we're going to add in an andesite funnel and then surround this entire thing in glass trapdoors just so that we can make sure the lava is completely encased and nothing's going to fall in. By nothing, I mean myself at some later date because I'm clumsy. Now that is the basic farm all put together, we just need to connect it up to power. So here goes. Now just to test to make sure everything is flowing in the right direction. And yeah, there it is. Now it's time to get started on the automatic tree chopper. I'm just going to glue all of these linear chassis together, and we're also going to create another row on the top. Oh, hello. We're going to add glue along here and the mechanical saws as well as the deployers, making sure to put them in the correct direction. Yep. There we go. Once this is in, we're going to add in all of our chest collecting, the saplings, the sticks, and the birch logs. And then we're going to add in some portable storage and glue it all together. And with that, the entire farm is done. I have gone ahead and thrown in just a little board here so that I can see how much charcoal we have in the vault as well as a chest to access. And I've gone to put in an on and off switch using a redstone link. But I'm feeling a little bit mischievous. And this guy sells bucket of pufferfish. And over there is a neighbor, and I haven't messed with Davis in a while. So, let's go over. Ooh, Davis. What am I gonna do? Let's just throw these little guys in. Oh, look at their little cute faces, and they're so cute and adorable. But I don't think this is enough. This is definitely not enough. Hold, please. Yeah. Yeah, this is enough. Yeah. I mean, I could do more. I could do more. I'm not going to, but I could do more. Think of that, Davis. I could have done more, but I didn't. Anyway, guys, this is where I'm going to leave it off. If you liked this one, please hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. It means the world to me. And yeah, I will catch you on the next one. Bye for now.